Welcome to the channel. My name is Kata, and I'm talking today about the upcoming solar eclipse that we're going to have on the 14th, which is this coming Saturday. And this solar eclipse is also a new moon, so it's going to have a very, very powerful, potent energy. And it is also simultaneously a portal, like an energy portal always opens. Because the frequency and the energy changes so much during such high intensity astrological events. So before I get into all of that and all the juicy details of what is coming up and how we need to approach this, how we need to look at ourselves during this eclipse and what this eclipse is actually representing, because it is in the sign of Libra. I just want to make a quick announcement. I'm super, super close to hitting 1,000 subscribers, and I'm so excited and to give back to all of you awesome people who have been contributing, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. I want to give away 3 one-hour coaching sessions to 3 beautiful people. And all you have to do is be a subscriber to the channel, like this video, and comment divine love in the comment section below. Okay, so do those 3 things. That'll get you entered to potentially win, and I will be doing the draw very, very soon, and I'll be announcing those names on video here. So I'll be posting that as well. So before I get into the meaty part of all of this awesome information, I want to first start off by just kind of explaining what a portal is. I think a lot of people don't understand what these portals are or what a portal is and what that means really, because so many different people talk about portals being open, but what is actually a portal? What does that mean? So I wanted to kind of get into that a little bit first. An energy portal is really a doorway, right? It's a gateway that it's like a window that genuinely opens up energetically during a certain alignment, during a certain degree or a certain way of things coming together. So this is all about planetary energies. And this portal and this gateway, when this opens up, it opens up to this expanded state of consciousness. So it allows us to tap into energy that isn't necessarily always there, isn't necessarily always available to us, because the portal frequency changes based on the sign that the planets are in, based on the planets and what they're doing, whether they're in retrograde or moving forward. So there's a lot of changes with every single portal, and the energy shifts significantly with each of these portals. There is a portal ritual, a general portal ritual that I'm going to make a separate video about, just to put that out there so that people can really be more constructive when these portals are open, and so that they have sort of a guidance system of what to follow, what to do on those portal days, because these days are not average. They're not ordinary. When we have a huge event like that, astrological event, like for example, that one that we have coming up on Saturday on the 14th, this is a ring of fire, and I'm really hoping they're calling for rain here where I live, but I'm really genuinely hoping that we're going to have a clear day so that I can actually see it. I will be keeping an eye out for that, but if not, of course, then we'll be able to see it online. But so a portal is a gateway to an expanded state of consciousness. It allows you to connect with higher energies so that you can make huge shifts in your life that maybe normally you wouldn't be able to necessarily do. So it's like this influx of high frequency energy that comes in that allows you to, like, your body picks up on those vibrations, and it allows you to recalibrate, to transmute certain energies, to release certain energies that otherwise may be more difficult to release. And we can all most benefit from energy portals by really consciously choosing to tap in, by taking a pause, by not just running and doing your errands and being distracted, but really tuning in to what is going on that specific day, and tuning into your own energy and how you are feeling and what information wants to come through for you. There's a lot of channeling that happens when a portal is open if you only pause and listen. So the divine very heavily communicates to us during these portals, because that window, like I said, is open and we have access, clearer access or better access to the divine. Now, because this portal that we have coming up, and we just had a portal actually yesterday, the 1010 portal, and I was super sad and super disappointed because I made an entire video about that, and unfortunately, the audio wasn't working, so I had to scrap the entire thing, and then I couldn't get my computer to work, and it was just like technical glitches on top of technical glitches, and I was not able to get that video out. So I was super bummed about it because it was such a really good high energy day yesterday. But nonetheless, what I decided and what Spirit conveyed to me to do is to put that information out there anyway. So that information that I put together for the 1010 portal yesterday, I'm going to talk about in today's video. Even though the 1010 already happened yesterday, I wanted to just make sure that people understand, because we're still in the sign of Libra, and the 1010 portal was, of course, in the sign of Libra yesterday. And Libra carries the energy of balance, of harmony, of symmetry and equilibrium. And it carries this energy in all things. So Libra wants balance and harmony in all things. You know, it's a pair of scales. It is depicted by a pair of scales for a reason. Libra also represents stopping and observing and contemplation. So this month in particular, you know, tuning into the energies, and we have such a crazy week this week, like energetically, there's so much going on, you know, so stopping, pausing, and tuning into the energy, meditating, listening to yourself, your higher self, your intuition is going to be key to really, really help you understand how to move forward. Everything in life is always guiding us forward, is trying to move us forward. So it is up to us to be able to really hone in on these energies, tap into them, and move ourselves forward. You know, we have to be the ones taking responsibility for ourselves and for our actions and for what we do and what we don't do, right? We have to be the ones to really take responsibility for how our life stagnates and doesn't move forward, and what we can do to actually make it move forward. So, and that this entire month is actually all about that. Libra season is all about bringing balance and harmony back into your life. Where are you lacking balance and harmony in your life at this time? You know, that is something that Libra is asking you to look at, to be honest about with yourself, and to really do something about it. Like, don't just sit there and woe is me and I'm a victim. You're not a victim of anything. It's truly about taking accountability for the things that you can change. So when the sun moves into the sign of Libra, it's asking you to identify what is not in balance within you. Now, within you, I'm talking mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. What is not in balance? What is not in harmony? Mentally, for example, are you thinking a lot of negative thoughts? Are you always more pessimistic than positive? Are you always more, you know, glass half empty than glass full? These are examples of mentally being out of balance. And so many people in society today, I find, are depressed and anxious because they run these negative stories in their heads all the time, and they allow their ego to completely push them down, to make them feel like they're not good enough, to make them feel like they're not, you know, capable of moving their life forward. And that's not true. That is simply a mental dialogue that you are allowing to play and to loop in your mind over and over and over again. And, you know, Dr. Joe Dispenza did a lot of amazing research on this and how our brain is wired and how our brain will literally have these ingrained patterns, ways of thinking. And his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, is all about how to break those patterns. And I've done some research on that. I've read that. I have that book. And it's really wonderful. Like, I had to recognize within myself, this is something I was doing too, where I noticed that my brain was always trying to loop the negative story, right? And it wasn't allowing my higher self, like it was like pushing or drowning out my higher self and preventing it from really guiding me, from really showing me that life is awesome, it's beautiful, and yes, there's challenges, but this is the way forward. Just keep doing this and keep moving forward. So if you are stuck in this sort of negative feedback loop within your mind, then this is the time, this Libra season and this eclipse actually is really, really asking all of us to just cut that shit. Like, stop, do something to stop it. If you need to start meditating every day, then start doing that. If it's 5 minutes to start or 2 minutes to start, I don't care how long it is. You sit there for as long as you can sit there. But it's like, start doing something that is different so that you can change, so that you can finally get unstuck, get out of the stagnation that you have been sitting in for so incredibly long. And when we think about, like, we had so many retrogrades over the summer periods, all of those retrogrades over the summer periods have been kind of stagnating us in a way. So there's been a lot of static energy. There's just been a lot of pause energy where everything was just sort of linear. It wasn't changing. Everything was just the same. And that sameness, as the season changed, as we moved into the fall, is now being asked of us to stop. And actually, this eclipse on Saturday, on the 14th, is going to completely bust the dam open. Like, this dam is now breaking. This stasis is now ending. So Ring of Fire is going to blow that apart. And it's time, it's time for us to stop stagnating and to really move forward, to really start taking accountability, taking responsibility for our lives. That is the primary message that Spirit always sends me, is that just take responsibility and accountability. Own it. Like, it's okay that you're messing up. It's not about the fact that you're messing up or how many times you mess up. It's about whether you can take accountability for those mess ups and say, shit, I'm doing that again. I'm repeating that pattern again, right? So it's just, that's the only way that you're going to move yourself out of it, right? Is to first acknowledge it. Now, Libra also wants us to have balance, not only within ourselves, but within our environment, within our relationships. So take a look at your life and ask yourself, are my relationships balanced? Which ones feel balanced? Which ones don't feel balanced? And personally, in my opinion, and for all the years of coaching that I've been doing, all relationships are imbalanced in some form or another. So there is always something that can be done, that could be tweaked, that could be done differently within connections, within relationships, to remove stagnation, to remove imbalances. And the number one thing that works best to remove imbalances within relationships and partnerships is communication. Without communication, you have nothing, right? People are not mind readers. Like, it's very important. And I talk to people all the time about this, how incredibly important it is to, lovingly and kindly and compassionately express yourself. Say what you need to say and stop holding it in. Stop expecting somebody else to just know what the fuck you need when you're not saying it. They're not going to know, right? And when you start to express, and I've had actually multiple people come back to me, clients who have, tried that and really, and I give them examples of, like, okay, this is your situation, so then say this and this and this, and I'll give them examples, and then they will go and they'll do that. And just recently I had somebody come back to me and tell me, like, it worked, and it worked so beautifully and so well, and the person had such a positive response to what they had to say, even though the woman herself was expecting her husband to have a negative remark, and he didn't. So it is pretty magical when you just open your mouth, when you communicate, when you, particularly when you communicate with love from your heart, and from a genuine sense of, like, I'm not here to fight with you. I'm not here to bring conflict. I'm actually genuinely looking to resolve this situation. So look at your relationships, look at your partnerships. What needs tweaking? What do you need to talk about? What do you need to start opening your mouth about and expressing? And where do you need to bring that harmony and that balance back in? And do the same thing with your environment. Look at your environment. What in your environment is chaotic? What is out of balance? Do you have piles and piles of paper all over your desk? Do you have, like, shit all over the house? Is your house unorganized? Is it dirty? Is like, are there things that are really creating a sense of chaos within you? That's what you have to look at. And when you see that there, okay, yes, and it's a daunting project. It's huge because there's crap everywhere, and I don't even know how to get started. Then again, take ownership. Okay, I created this mess, then I can clean this up, and I'm more than capable of cleaning it up. And here's what I need to do. I don't know how to organize. Okay, then I'm going to start doing some research online. There's thousands of videos on YouTube about how to organize, right? And then you just start looking at that and start getting some ideas, getting inspiration, getting motivation. So we all have the power within ourselves to change our circumstances, to change what we don't like. And this solar eclipse is asking us to do that, change what doesn't work, change what you don't like, because that is the only way that you're going to move forward. Don't expect somebody else to do it for you. And don't look to others or point fingers and say, well, you made the mess, you clean it up. You know what? If it's your house, just do it. Just clean it up, because everybody benefits from that in the end, right? So from a lot of different perspectives, there's a huge purge energy actually that is present with this solar eclipse. And it's truly asking us to purge out. And it is actually going to push things out of our lives that have been stagnant, that have expired, that no longer work. And these things need to go. And that's all there is to it. So these energies are always really, really intense. You may actually feel very emotional as well this week. Emotions are very high. I noticed that for myself as well. Just my emotions kind of going up and down more than usual. So that's definitely a really good indication that there's also emotional purging that is happening at this time and during this week. And then from the 12th to the 16th, I'm going to suggest that you just kind of not necessarily lay low, but just take a little bit more of a more gentle approach to yourself and to life itself. So it's like, don't try to excessively do too much. Obviously, if you have certain responsibilities and deadlines and things that you have to get done, then, you got to do what you got to do. But at the same time, between the 12th and the 16th, so 12th is tomorrow. So from Thursday, until next Monday, I'm going to suggest that you definitely take it easy, lay low, hydrate more. It's a very intense, very, very intense seismic window here with this eclipse. So just be more gentle with yourself. Really, really lean into your self-care. Do different things. I had a salt bath last night because I was so frustrated with all this technological chaos going on and things not working the way I wanted them to. And I just paused and I was like, okay, what do I need? I need a bath. So I went and I ran myself a salt bath and I did an hour-long soak and I got out like a brand new person. I felt great. I said, you know what? That's okay. For some reason, this just didn't work out today and we'll make it happen tomorrow. So, how we respond emotionally to things is also something to become aware of, because Libra, the scales, are wanting us to balance our emotions out, stop overreacting, stop overthinking, stop overcomplicating things, and just bring about more harmony within, because it's up to us. It's our individual choice for each and every single one of us, right? So become aware of how you can and need to create that balance within yourself, your environment, and your relationships. And the key word here is can. How can you create more balance within yourself, within your environment, within your relationships? You can start small, doesn't have to be huge. Now, Libra is also a very intellectual air sign. So Libra is all about, problem solving and figuring things out and getting to the bottom of the things and getting to the root of the matter. So it's reminding you of the importance of also diplomacy and negotiation. So this is a very important time right now for us to be more diplomatic than usual. Use your manners, approach situations with more love, compassion, and harmony, and try to be very much resolution oriented, okay? Instead of conflict, and instead of looking at, pointing the finger at others, how can we resolve the matter in the most peaceful way? And this would relate to everything, like to your work, coworkers, different things. So if you've got conflicts going on and stuff, how could you negotiate some kind of a deal where, everybody has sort of a win-win situation? Or where could you use more diplomacy perhaps in your life where it is needed? Now, of course, the final thing I want to say about Libra is all about justice and fairness and equality and bringing things into balance, right? So it wants to actually bring fairness and justice into your life right now. And this Ring of Fire solar eclipse that we're going to be having is definitely bringing that justice in, particularly when it comes to our relationships and when it comes to work. So if you feel like you've been doing a lot of work and just investing a ton of time and energy into like a project at work perhaps, and you feel very unseen or unappreciated, underappreciated for the work that you've been doing, this solar eclipse is going to most definitely bring things back into balance. It is going to help you to feel a lot more recognized. You're going to receive recognition. You're going to receive more awareness. Like, people will become much more aware of who you are, what you do. So again, it's like lighting up career and work for a lot of us, and it is also lighting up relationships for a lot of us. So a lot of unexpected twists and turns can be expected in the coming week or so, actually in the coming month. Now, I know the 1010 has already passed, but I just want to quickly mention what the 1010 portal was really all about, what the numerology of the 1010 portal was all about yesterday. 1 is the number of leadership, of optimism, confidence, and creative power. And 0, anytime there is a 0 after any number, the 0 amplifies the number before it. So in this case, the 0 was amplifying the 1. And it makes it basically 10 times stronger, or it makes that message 10 times more meaningful. So in this case, the 1010 portal yesterday was amplifying leadership, optimism, confidence, and creative power for all of us to bring this forth, to bring this out of us. And this entire Libra season, this eclipse, all of this is actually encouraging us to do that. Exactly. Where in your life do you need to become more of a leader? Where in your work, perhaps, do you need to become more of a leader? Where do you need to become more optimistic? Have you been too pessimistic? Have you been overly negative or fearful about certain situations, or things not working out or whatnot? And where do you need to infuse more optimism into those situations or into those circumstances? Where do you need to bring more confidence into yourself? And with what situations do you need to step up in a more confident way, right? We all have confidence within us. It just needs to be nurtured. It needs to be acknowledged, and it needs to be brought forth. So, and then lastly, the creative power, right? 1 is representing creative power. So where are you using or not using your creative power to the best of your ability? And can you infuse more creative power into your projects, into hobbies, different things that you're working on that are important for you? Now, 10 together, the number 10 symbolizes wholeness, because 1 and 0 represent the masculine and the feminine principles. So 1 represents the masculine principle, and 0 represents the feminine principle. So when you put the 2 together, it's a wholeness. It's completion, right? It brings a whole, complete energy with it, the number 10. So 1010 yesterday was all about wholeness and completion, and feeling that wholeness and completion within ourselves, and also representing something that is completing at this time and ending. So the energy is offering a fabulous opportunity for us to step into this confidence, into leadership, into your power, by taking an honest look at where your thoughts and internal dialogue are holding you back. So think about the words and the phrases and the thoughts that you continuously have about any of the things in your life that are currently not working. Are you having positive or negative thoughts? And are you saying, whether out loud or in your head, negative or positive things about those situations, the people, your financial situation, whatever it is? So I'm just going to bring some awareness right now to like money. Money is such a huge, common issue for so many of us. And so if money is an issue in your life, then ask yourself, what do I think and what do I say in my head about money, about having it or not having it on a regular basis? This is about becoming aware of your own internal dialogue. And if it's not money, then it's relationships. Say you have like a boyfriend and things are not working out, or you have a partner and things are not the best, not even necessarily not working out, but just not the best. What is your internal dialogue constantly in your head about that situation? Are you always thinking like, oh, he's never going to change? Oh, he keeps doing this. Like, are you always focused on what isn't working? Can you start to focus on what is working, or the things that are good and the things that are positive, so that you can start to generate more of that in your life? Because that's what all of this comes down to, right? It's a whole entire process I've gone through myself. It's like the more negative thoughts I have, the shittier I feel, the worse the situation gets, and the less I'm going to do about it, the less I'm going to take responsibility for it. But the more I'm willing to look at any situation that is difficult in my life and say, okay, this is what's going on, but here's what I can do about it, and here's what I can do about it now, because there's only so much you can do, and you always have to work with whatever you have, right? Whatever tools, whatever resources you have. So how can I look at it differently? Look at everything in your life that you currently see in a negative light and ask yourself, how can I look at this in a more positive way? What positive words and phrases and thoughts can I replace the negative ones with? Are you repeating a negative story over and over and over? There are a lot of people that do. It's also time to get real with yourself and make a conscious effort to let go of that old mental patterns. This eclipse is asking all of us to release these old mental patterns, these old ways of thinking, these super limited, tiny little box ways of thinking that just simply don't work. It is time for us to let that shit go. It doesn't serve us, it doesn't work for us, and it most certainly doesn't elevate our lives. It doesn't put us to that next level. It doesn't get us where we want to go. It doesn't help us to move forward. So this eclipse is saying it is time to like chop this out of your life, get rid of it completely. Release and let go of being negative. Look at your life and your opportunities positively with love and gratitude. And the gratitude practice is like my number one go-to. I absolutely love it. It's what I was doing in my bath last night. And, because of the chaos and the frustration I was feeling, I'm like, okay, I know that everything is happening for a reason, and I just have to get back into positivity. So I started to say like gratitude affirmations within myself, and it was wonderful. It actually elevated me and emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and then the bath physically elevated me. So it was just like a complete package. It was awesome. So actually the bath, I wanted to mention this, is a really, really great place to do like affirmations. It's a great place to meditate. It's a great place to just really, go within yourself, tune in and do some inner reflecting. Simply because the salt bath will help to wash away so much garbage from your energy field anyway. So it's like it clears everything. And it also helps to clear away like a lot of emotional energies that are stuck in the energy field. So when I'm working energetically on somebody, there's so many layers in the aura, and there's so much garbage sitting in each of those layers. And all of that gets cleared out and washed out when you're in the salt bath. The salt helps to neutralize all of those lower vibrational energies. and then it literally just goes down the drain. So it's awesome. I literally got out of the bath last night and I looked in the mirror and my eyes were so white and glossy, like just so white. I could tell. I was like, whew, we cleared some kind of shit away. You know what I mean? So yeah, so it's good. Do that. Now, this week and the rest of this week is going to be, and the rest of this month actually is going to be very unpredictable. There's just a lot of unpredictable energy floating around. And like I said, with these eclipses just sort of suddenly cutting things out of our lives or asking us to suddenly cut things out of our lives is going to bring about a lot of unexpected changes. It's going to internally shift a lot of people to just all of a sudden impulsively act and finally do something that maybe they've been putting off doing. You may all of a sudden feel an urge to like take action on something that you've been putting off. So that's the kind of energy that's because, and this is like personally and collectively. So there's a lot of unexpected changes that we may also see on the world stage happening at this time, where things just unexpectedly change and very quickly, very unexpectedly and rapidly. So just be mindful of that. Anything can happen and it probably will. As we can see, we already have some volatile energy over in the other side of the world there in Israel right now. So with the war, the energetic events of this week also signal the dam breaking on the uneasy stasis that we've been experiencing through the retrograde period. The Pluto, oh, I forgot to mention this. Pluto also stationed direct yesterday on the 10th of October, which is a big deal. Pluto has been in retrograde, I believe, for the last 4 months and is now finally stationing direct and moving forward, which is also a huge, huge energetic shift for us. Pluto is the great eliminator. Pluto is the planet that helps to eliminate and break apart things that are just not working anymore. So Pluto is coming in and bringing its big badass energy in to break some shit down in our lives right now. So it's also reminding us that it's time to finish unfinished business. So again, Pluto wants you to like, done, and things. What's unfinished? What's still lingering? What's still hanging over your head? You know, what's been sitting on that plate of yours that's overly full that you know you need to clear off because it's just eating away at the back of your head. Those are the kind of things that it is now time for us to look at and to really get serious on making a change about. So it is time to clean things up. What in your life is being permanently deleted at this time? And with this, it could be the negative thinking that I talked about earlier. It could be bad habits. It could be addictions. It could be pot smoking. It could be alcoholism. It could be cigarette smoking. It could be whatever. Anything and everything that you know is holding you back, that you know is not serving you, that you know is like, disrupting your health, all of those things. And again, not just disrupting your health, but like mental health, like the negative thinking, anything holding you back at this time, it is time to purge it out, time to let it go. It's like this massive release. And I'm getting a visual of like a hot air balloon. It's like, can you just allow yourself to elevate, to move up with that hot air balloon? Because it's there. The hot air balloon is sitting on the ground. It's there. It's waiting for you to get into it and then go up. All you have to do is just release those weights, right? Throw off all that baggage, that heaviness that you're currently carrying. And don't you worry, this month, the energy is going to help you remove some of that. And I just want to add here that for the people that it's not necessarily easy to do that, or they're struggling, or they don't want to let certain things go, this energy is going to be a bit, how do I say this, contracting and restrictive. So it's going to make you feel like shit, in other words. Anything that you are insisting on holding on to, especially when it has to do with like pain and like those negative patterns, it's going to squeeze you harder. It's going to make you feel worse. It's going to really squeeze you to the point where you really start to just can't, like where you can't take it anymore and you have to do something to change. And that's, again, it sounds bad, but it's a good thing. simultaneously, right? Because we need that. We need that wake up call of like, come on, you've got this. You are better than this. The power that you have within you is more powerful than anything that is trying to, rule over you. So use that God-given power and move your life forward. It doesn't matter how hard it is. Yes, it's going to be hard. Can you accept that it's going to be hard and do it anyway? It's like, feel the fear and do it anyway, right? That's the kind of energy we have going on this week. So yeah, it's pretty crazy and intense. It would also be a good idea to safeguard finances and resources and face the truth about important relationships. So again, the purging energy coming up wants us to really be honest, like really super honest with ourselves, and take a look at what is not working and purge it out. Again, it doesn't matter if it's hard. It doesn't matter if it's going to, be a difficult thing for you to do. Just do it, because the healing can only begin once you've released the bag, once you've released the heaviness, right? Then the healing journey actually begins. And that is the process of moving forward. That is how you shift. So truth about important relationships is definitely something that we're going to need to face. Now, let's see what else here. The karmic theme is the changing nature of the contracts and values that we live by. So this energy, this solar eclipse energy, is also asking us to really look at the nature of the contracts and values that we live by. So what values are you living by? Are those values still true for you? Do they still work for you? Are there certain contracts you live by? Are those contracts true for you? Are they still working for you? This is a really important time to be looking at these things. Again, remember the squeeze, right? Like when we don't make a change, but the universe is trying to nudge you to make a change, then life only gets harder. And we choose that. We are the only people for ourselves that can choose anything, right? You either choose to move forward and make changes, or you choose not to. All of it is up to you. And we have free will. So this is collectively and personally. So contracts and values that we live by are going to need a review, and the quality of the relationships that are underpinning them. So who is attached to certain contracts? What is the quality of who is attached to those certain things? And same with relationships. Now, the next 14 months, there's extreme polarization that has been simmering for so long that it will begin to erupt. So over the next 14 months, we've got a lot of energy that just wants to start busting through. It wants to start really opening up that can of worms that we have been basically simmering for quite some time and haven't opened yet, but it will open it. So the solar eclipse itself represents the end of a cycle, the end of something no longer working the way that you want it to work. That is what solar eclipses typically represent. And I got to put my leg down. Okay, there we go. And it also brings growth through new patterns that you want to bring into your life. So solar eclipses are always very, very powerful. That's why I said I'm going to make a separate video on portal rituals, because a solar eclipse is another portal opening. It's a massive energy shift. And it's really, really important to tap in at this time and during portal times. They're like power days. We'll call them power days. So take time to think about what kind of new you want to bring into your life. What is stagnating? What is old? What needs to go? And what kind of new do you want to replace that with? Always keep in mind, guys, that in order for new energy to enter your life, you must release old energy first. It's like we always have to make energetic space. I always say that we are always holding space, right? It's like you're like a cup. And if your cup is this full with the negative energy that you don't like, then where's the new going to fit? Like it just can't, right? So certain negative things have to leave. All that old energy has to leave. You got to dump the cup and make it nice and empty so that and make space so that this new energy can come in and fill it. And then now you've got this beautiful new juice in there and it's so vibrant and pretty and lovely and full of life, right? That's how energy works. So what kind of new do you want to bring into your life at this time? This eclipse creates an opening for you to change something that has been stagnating, not working, not bringing you joy and happiness. And the energy is asking, is this something that you want to continue with, or something that you want to end or close out? Think about that. What in your life is ready to be closed out? What are you ready to close out and leave behind, even if it is uncomfortable to do so? It's always uncomfortable. That's the other thing. Keep in mind that it is always uncomfortable to make a change, even when you're making a positive change. And it's only, uncomfortable because we're so used to the old. We're just so used to doing things the way that we've always done them. So free will gives you the choice. The choice is going to be yours and solely yours. Nobody else can make it for you. What new do you want in your life, and what are you ready to truly end? It is time to be creative and try new things. Not too many things, but just enough new things to bring some fresh energy into your life. I know I'm certainly looking at different ways I can change my schedule, different things that I can start doing just to bring some fresh energy into my own life and to remove some stagnation and some boredom. It is also time to step out of the usual. It might be scary, but you just might learn something new and valuable by doing so. So step out of the usual. Stop doing the same old, and do something different. Don't worry about perfection. And this one here, guys, is key. Please put an asterisk beside this one because perfection is such a time waster. And worrying about perfection is not the focus here. The focus is going to be on the focus is on not letting yourself miss out on something that you know that you want, something that you might regret later. So don't make sure that right now, whatever needs to close out in your life, you allow that to close out so that you don't fall into this, should have, could have, would have situation, right? Now is the time to act. Now is the time to make changes. This is the time. This is the best time because the energy is intense and things aren't going to get like soft and fluffy moving forward. Just newsflash, 24 and 25, all the way up until 2027, we have dramatic changes, okay, in astrology, in the skies. And those dramatic changes are going to be felt here on Earth. It's going to bring about some dramatic changes here on Earth. So let's level up. Let's get into, the power that we have within ourselves to really change our lives. And a couple more points here. Eclipse energy also aligns with intimacy. So you may be seeking deeper connections and wanting to leave behind superficial ones at this time. I have so much evidence of this when it comes to the clients that I'm working with and, women that I'm talking to and men that I'm talking to. It's really, really interesting. And I'm noticing that there's actually this pattern of people have been just telling me that they've been seeking, deeper connections. They're done with this like superficial stuff. They're done with materialism and all this, and people that are just overly materialistic. And people are genuinely seeking deeper, more heartfelt, more soul-based connections where the connection is based on authenticity. It's based on vulnerability. It's based on reality. And this is a very, very common theme. So this eclipse is also going to elevate that desire within you to really, really seek out more deeper, meaningful, more spiritually based connections over superficial ones. And it could be the change that you want at this time. It could be exactly what you want and it could be exactly what you need. That's why I'm saying don't be afraid to close out cycles. If you're in a connection that is superficial, that doesn't feel real, it doesn't feel deep, there isn't mutual love and respect there, then perhaps, and you have had conversations and you've tried to work on it and it's not changing, then just know that that's not going to change. That's just how it's going to be. And you need to leave that behind. And you need to be willing to go through the process of leaving that behind, no matter how difficult, in order to actually have and capture and be able to experience this new level of connection where it's not superficial, but deeply nourishing, deeply loving, and deeply valuable. So be very clear on what you can and what you can't do when it comes to giving to other people. So it's very important right now to be very, very authentic. If there's something you can't do because you don't have the energy, you don't have the time or the resources or something, say it. It's okay. Just say it. So be very clear on that and be flexible with the changes that you want to make. Take it one step at a time. There's no need to rush. And that was the other thing too that I kept getting as a message from Spirit is we all need to get out of this like go, go, go energy and this attitude because it so doesn't serve us. The more that you can actually slow down and take your time and feel into things and feel into your intuition and listen to your intuition and trust your intuition, the more you're actually going to make much better decisions for yourself. And you're actually going to make a heck of a lot more progress a lot faster because you've taken the time to really sort out the right information within yourself, to really listen to God, to your inner guidance, and then make a move. So that's a huge lesson, for all of humanity here, that we need to really understand and remind ourselves that this fast-paced world that we've created for ourselves is driving us crazy and it doesn't work. So why do we keep doing it? Slowing down just feels better, doesn't it? So, and it's like, keep in mind, that anything that is meant for you will not pass you by. I promise you that. It will not, because if something is divinely meant for you, it is meant for you and you will have it. But you have to also align, okay? That's our job as humans, is that we have to align. We align to the energy. We align to our own truth, our own authenticity, our vulnerability. And then that helps to bring things forth into our lives. Anything that is not meant for you, however, you won't even notice. You just it won't even come up on your periphery. Like, you just will not have any clue of it. So when things are not meant for you, then usually, they say rejection is God's protection. So God will usually try to move those things out of the way for you because it's not meant for you. Now, your intuition is guiding you to your future, so tune into it. This week and weekend is very, very important for that. Tune in as frequently as possible, daily if possible, to yourself so that you can feel into where it's trying to guide you, so that you can understand where your soul is trying to push you, what direction, and what kind of a future. Envision the future, see it, tune into it. What does your future look like? Because our souls are constantly trying to guide us there. The doors are wide open. This eclipse is opening a huge door for us right now. And it's just asking us to walk through the door to experience something new. Leave the old behind, drop the old shit that doesn't work, drop the old relationships, the work, the whatever that doesn't work, the baggage, the emotional baggage, the fearful thinking, all of it, and walk through this door. Because what is waiting on the other side for you is magic. So that is what I have for this a little bit longer than I anticipated video, but for the solar eclipse coming up on the 14th. But I feel like this was all very powerful. I was getting a ton of downloads while I was writing my notes, and Spirit just kept kind of like, say this and put this in there and put that in there. So, everything I put together here was one coming from my heart, and these were all messages that I was also resonating with personally. So these are all here for all of us to really embrace the energy this week. Move forward with love and light in your heart. Take salt baths, drink lots of water, and keep an eye out for that portal ritual that I will be posting tomorrow. And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video with someone else that might need a little boost and a little bit of a reality check for this week. And also, don't forget to comment Divine Love if you want to win one of the 3 1-hour sessions that I'm going to be giving away. So thank you so much for watching, for tuning in. I love you all. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you tomorrow.